Hi, my name is Jeremy, your dedicated account manager at F5. Now, I've had a few calls with your teams and was invited to come in today and discuss your access security strategy, also how F5 might be an option for you. Before we get into the conversation though, I did want to ask, are there any other questions that you might have for us to answer during our time together? Okay, great, thanks so much. Now typically I'll start with a 10-minute whiteboard giving a high-level overview, and then take the remaining 45 minutes to get a better understanding of how we might be a fit. Also, I did have this meeting on my calendar for an hour. Is that still good? Great, thanks so much. Now, as you might know, F5's architecture is built on being a full proxy, which is sitting between our client's data, or in the requests that they make, and the applications that we have. Now, I'm going to draw out some applications over here. App 2, App 3, and App 4. Now, being a full proxy gave us the ability to build upon the foundation of delivery services that we have been delivering to applications for over 2 decades. One of the areas that we have a lot of years of experience is why I'm here today, which is around access. Now, what I can tell you, like most other security OEMs out there, we at F5 started with basic VPN tunneling, starting with an IPsec VPN, which I'll draw right here, which ultimately gave the user the ability to virtually hardline into the network, granting access to the applications that resided there. Now, during the boom of e-commerce, we started to see the use of SSL VPN, that is virtual private networking, that was encrypted over the internet. VPNs were a solid single point of control no matter where the app was located. Now, it could be located on-prem, which we can put right here on premises. We can even put hybrid, because we're going to talk about some clouds. It could be in the public cloud like AWS or Azure, or it could be applications that are consumed as a service like Salesforce or O365. However, as the world came into the digital age, the benefits of utilizing a VPN, as you know, have started to fade. So VPNs have gone from a single point of control to ultimately a single point of failure. Also, they become an impediment and slow for our ability or users' ability to access apps that are outside of the traditional infrastructure. That is, traffic being routed out to the cloud. So what ends up happening is we have traffic that has to come into the network and be secured, authenticated, and verified by the VPN, and then sent back outward. Also, the way that end users are now consuming and using applications is different. It's not static and it's always changing. So we could have different device usage, like Charlie over here, leveraging an app on his tablet, on his smartphone, which looks identical to a tablet, as well as his standard issue corporate laptop. Now, consistent location changes happen all the time as well. So Charlie could be a remote worker one day, working in New York City, and then here at F5's corporate headquarters the very next day. And users aren't tied to a desk. Other things that we need to put into consideration: time of day changes, flexible work hours that never stay the same, or let's say that Charlie here is in the United States one day and then the next day in our Singapore office, the time of day that he will access those apps will be completely different. We also see that credential stuffing is the most leveraged method of attack in the world today. Even our F5 security incident response teams sees credential-based attacks as the #1 leveraged methodology. And why is that? I'm going to say 2 critical human error issues are the major contributors. Number 1, end users are going to have what I'll call password fatigue. I'll just write password up on the board. They refuse to learn new usernames and passwords, new credentials. So they just reuse them over and over and over again, leaving your organization open to attack. If their password for one application is exposed, the likelihood that bad actors will steal those credentials and then use those to work on another app within your infrastructure is extremely high. The second human error issue that I'll go over is with administrators. And I'm going to draw Frank the administrator here. And this is something that I'm going to call access fatigue, or the inability to guarantee 100% follow through to remove access to every app a previous employee used. As an example, I will use me. I have access to 42 applications every single day. Now let's take a 500 employee company and let's multiply 42 by 500. And what does this equal? It equals 21,000 individual access connections that administrators need to grant and revoke at any time. Now statistics are showing on average, businesses have over 700 applications rather than 42. So the risk now is exponentially higher than what I originally had put on this board. It's just as high as the success rate as attackers with credential-based attacks. Now the day and age of trust but verify is over, and administrators right now are working on zero trust strategies and architectures to never trust and to always verify. The market is asking for specific things, and we are listening to our customers that are asking for these from F5. For access control, we've heard that there are going to be requirements that are, number one, contextually aware. Things like device context authentication and verification, location, and other methodologies like step-up authentication that require verify and then re-verify in real time based off of sensitive or confidential information. Solutions that integrate. Integration, meaning integrate with current multi-factor authentication OEMs and ID as a service vendors. Number three, we're also looking for the ability to integrate into current zero trust architectures and strategies. And lastly, and I would say of utmost importance, our clients are asking for this solution to be easy to implement and easy to use for both administrators and end users. Like, what if I could tell you that you could tell your end user they'd only need to leverage one strong password for access to all apps at the same time. This is where F5's approach to zero trust application access is key. And our solution is called Access Policy Manager, or as we just drew on the board, APM. We are able to provide contextual access through device, location, time of day analysis, and monitoring. And how that works is it comes through and we ping whatever device that is for those specific contextual requirements that we have. We are also able to integrate with current MFA and identity as a service partners and alliances, MFA being Duo, Gemalto, and more, and ID as a service like Azure Active Directory and Okta. And lastly, in addition to providing that zero trust based architecture, never trust, always verify, we do absolutely make it easy for both administrators to grant, revoke, change role-based access with a click of a button, and we make it incredibly easy for end users to leverage, one of those end users being me. I access it every single day. So far, this meeting has been about F5 and how we do access management. Again, we see it coming in We're able to terminate that traffic as a full proxy, leverage multi-factor authentication and ID as a service partnerships, totally verify, and then grant access to any and all of the applications that that end user requires. So what I'd like to do now is spend the next 45 minutes or so discussing your organization's business challenges around access management. I'd like to hear if any of the things that I've highlighted set off alarms, and I'd like to better understand your strategy around access-based security.